Hey, this is the Review Junkie, and today I'll be reviewing the new thriller Knock at the Cabin. As always, my review will be illustrated and the artwork is done by myself. And if you like movies, art, and comic books, please hit that subscribe button because all my reviews are hand drawn, and I like to get to 1,000 subscribers soon so my channel can be official. Now, this movie stars Dave Bautista, Ben Aldridge, Jonathan Gruff, Nikki Amuka Bird, Rupert Grint, Abby Quinn, and Kristen Q. It's written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Now, this is a non spoiler review, so everything I discuss will have been shown in the trailer. Absolutely no spoilers. I'll tell you briefly about the plot, the characters, my pros and cons, final thoughts, and if this is worth checking out at your local movie theater. So, the plot pertains to a couple vacationing in a cabin with their daughter Wen. She's approached by a stranger one day. They have a small interaction, and things quickly go south when the three other strangers appear. Things escalate, and Dave Bautista, who plays Leonard, discloses the purpose of their visit. But this isn't your usual home invasion. They're not after money, iPads, jewelry, iPhones, Jordan sneakers, or phone chargers. They're here with an unexpected proposal to save the Earth from the apocalypse. Alright, so this trailer had me completely hooked when I saw it. This was highly anticipated for early 2023. The premise presented was beyond intriguing, and I needed to watch this to see how things played out. Now, every time M. Night has a new movie, I don't know what comes over me, but I just have to see it. I have the most toxic relationship with this director because I feel like I'm the battered wife that keeps coming back for more. I must be a masochist that just never learns my lesson. Okay? Okay. You know what I mean. He promises to better himself and make changes, and he never does. And he always does this with his movies where there's these big elaborate plots and setup, but he has issues with the final execution. So I feel like movie fans were on a high with Missing and Plane in January because those were good films, but I was a tad disappointed in this one. It does have a lot of good things going for it. First, the plot is bonkers, and it's the kind of plot that can make for great storytelling. And I like that it makes one ponder what would one do in the exact same situation, and are these people telling the truth or high on drugs and just insane? So, to get things out of the way, I did enjoy this movie, but I was disappointed at the same time. My first pro is that I thought it was very well made and held together by the unique plot. The setup is so interesting and could go in tons of different directions. You can literally have the second and third acts go any way, and I feel no matter which way it went, it would have surprised the audience. I was immediately sucked in because everything kicks into high gear after the opening credits to get the plot rolling. Next, the performances are excellent. I like the entire cast, and I think everyone did a good job acting wise. But the two standouts here are Dave and Ben. They get the most lines, so they have the most chances to flex their acting chops. Now, Dave continues to surprise me because he's this big brute mountain man that looks like he just drinks beer and burps and farts, but he actually has surprising acting range. And you just never get a sense he's one note or playing the same character despite his physical appearance. Now, one would naturally think his character is extremely violent, but that isn't the case. And with the insane proposal given to the couple, each of the four brought a nuance to their performance because of their mission, yet they were very calm and rational when interacting with the couple. So I like the juxtaposition of that. It was well done. Now, Ben is great here too, and we last saw him in December with the movie Spoiler Alert. In case you missed that in theaters and didn't get to see his touching performance in that, definitely check it out. And my non spoiler review is also on my channel, so take a look when you get a chance. He's excellent in that, and he's also excellent here as well. He did such a good job at his emotional scenes, including the ones that required physicality. I've become such a big fan since Spoiler Alert, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Now, I also thought the director did a really good job at making the audience care for the couple by showing certain events via flashbacks. I thought this was effective and added another layer to the film, and it made the couple's relationship more meaningful. The musical score here is great. It adds so much to a scene and really builds on the tension and suspense so well. It was used effectively, and many times I just had so much sweat on my hands because of the placement during specific scenes. Now, to me, this is a thriller suspense film, and I think it delivers on that. There are many scenes where you find yourself sucked into what's going on and you have no idea which way it's going to go. The sense of dread and impending doom was well done, and there were several excellent scenes here, and a standout was one during a car scene when Ben's character is trying to retrieve an item in the backseat of the car. M. Night does a great job at keeping the suspenseful tone consistent throughout. There are some gruesome things that happen to some of the characters, but I actually like that it was handled well and only the right amount of violence was shown. Lastly, just a big thumbs up to Kristen Q, who plays Wen. She's great here and captured how scared her character was. She was full of fun energy when it was needed and emotional when it was asked. Now, I do have three cons for this film. First is the opening credit scene. There are so many interesting things placed in the opening credits that it would actually almost lead one to believe this is a sci fi horror film, but it couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth, and I thought it was actually rather misleading. Next, there's definitely a level of suspension of disbelief that has to take place with this movie. I feel the couple never asks the important questions. Things just play out and you just have to accept it. And I think anyone in this situation would have asked a lot of different questions to make sense of why this was happening and why to this couple. So, my last con is the biggest issue I have with this movie, which is the third act execution. I know twist and reveals in the third act is his signature, but I don't think that can really happen with a plot like this. It's either the four invaders are telling the truth or they aren't. And I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but when the third act plays out and certain things occur and things are further revealed, it didn't have the pow and wow or any oomph that one would expect. With such a fascinating ultimatum given to the couple, there's no fireworks of any kind in the last 10 to 15 minutes of the film. The first two acts had such high momentum and high stakes that one would naturally expect a big payoff in the third act, but that doesn't happen here, and it's unfortunate. He really had issues maintaining that momentum in the third act. And as I said earlier, I feel like the battered wife that keeps coming back. He does this all the time where he shows us all the unique cookie flavors he has in his cookie jar, which are the first two acts of the film. And when we're ready to bite in, he immediately closes the cookie jar lid, so no cookie. No cookie at all. I feel like I get tricked every time he releases a new movie. At the same time, I feel the director doesn't get a break because he's built his career on twists and reveals, and audiences naturally expect that. It's his trademark signature. So if you're here for that big jolt, you may be a tad disappointed. But if you go in expecting to be entertained and not to get the explosion you're expecting at the end, then you'll be okay. So this brings me to my final thoughts, and this gets a solid 7 out of 10 from me. This is not a horrible film at all, and like I said, I rather enjoyed it. It has a lot of things going for it, from the interesting premise to the amazing performances by the cast, and it's well made. Despite the fact that I feel tricked again, and I'm not quite sure the purpose of this film, it still gets a big green light from me to check this out in theaters. I think you'll have a good time and be fully entertained with high adrenaline suspense. I was never bored, and I think fans of the director will like this one. So support your local movie theaters and check this out on the big screen where it's meant to be seen. Now, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you like, please subscribe, helps the channel out a lot. Hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share this with your friends. Thanks so much for checking out my review, and leave your comments below on whether you like the film or not, and I hope the pictures put a smile on your face.